Aiden had always felt safest in the arms of his girlfriend, Lyra. She was a quiet, soft-spoken girl with a warmth that felt almost unreal, like a gentle fire on a winter night that chased away every shadow in his life. They had met 2 years ago at a small bookstore in the city, where she worked behind the counter, her dark hair tied back in a loose ponytail, her eyes always seeming to hold a secret smile just for him. Aiden, a graphic designer with a chaotic schedule and a history of fleeting relationships, had been drawn to her immediately. Lyra was steady, kind, the kind of person who remembered your favorite coffee order and left little notes in your lunchbox. She loved him in a way that made him feel seen, truly seen, for the first time. But everything changed when they moved into their new apartment. It was an old building on the outskirts of town, a relic from the early 1900s with creaky wooden floors and high ceilings that seemed to swallow sound. They had chosen it because it was affordable, and Lyra had fallen in love with the bay window in the living room that overlooked a quiet park. "It's perfect for us," she'd said, her voice soft as she squeezed his hand. "A fresh start." Aiden agreed, though something about the place nagged at him from the beginning. The way the walls seemed to whisper when the wind blew, or how the previous tenants had left in such a hurry that they'd abandoned half their furniture. The strange things started small, almost dismissible. One evening, as Aiden cooked dinner in the kitchen, he heard Lyra's voice from the bedroom, humming a familiar tune, the lullaby her mother used to sing to her as a child. He smiled, calling out, "Babe, dinner's almost ready." But when he poked his head into the room, she wasn't there. The bed was empty, the sheets undisturbed. Confused, he checked the bathroom, the living room, nothing. Then, from the hallway behind him, her voice again. "Aiden?" He spun around, and there she was, standing by the front door with grocery bags in her hands. "I just got back from the store," she said, tilting her head. "You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." He laughed it off, blaming the acoustics of the old building. But that night, as they lay in bed, he couldn't shake the feeling that the hum had been too clear, too close. Days turned into weeks, and the incidents piled up like dust in the corners. Lyra would appear in places she shouldn't be. One morning, Aiden woke up early for work and saw her silhouette in the kitchen pouring coffee. "Morning, love," he murmured, kissing her shoulder. She turned, smiling that warm smile, and handed him a mug. But as he sipped it in the living room, he glanced back toward the bedroom, and there she was, still asleep under the covers, her chest rising and falling peacefully. His heart skipped a beat. He dropped the mug, hot coffee spilling over the rug. When he rushed back to the kitchen, it was empty. No sign of her, no steam from the pot. Lyra stirred awake at the noise, rubbing her eyes. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice groggy. Aiden stammered something about a bad dream, but inside, doubt began to fester. He started keeping track in a notebook hidden in his desk drawer. Entries like, "Heard her voice calling from the empty basement, sweet, loving, almost desperate," or "Saw her reflection in the mirror while she was out with friends, waving at me." Stress, he told himself. The new job was demanding. The move had been exhausting. Maybe he needed therapy, or at least a vacation. Lyra noticed his distraction, of course. She was always attuned to him like that. One night, as they sat on the couch watching a movie, she paused it and turned to him. "Aiden, talk to me. You've been distant. Is it the apartment? We can move if you hate it here." Her eyes were wide, pleading, and he pulled her close, burying his face in her hair. "No, it's nothing, just work stuff." But as she nestled against him, he felt a chill, a subtle wrongness in the way her body fit against his, like a puzzle piece that was almost right, but not quite. The turning point came on a stormy Friday night. Thunder rattled the windows and the power flickered intermittently, casting long shadows across the walls. Aiden had come home late from the office, soaked from the rain, and found Lyra in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for soup. "You're home," she said brightly, wiping her hands on a towel. But something was off. Her movements were too fluid, too graceful, like a dancer mimicking everyday life. He forced a smile and went to change, but as he passed the bedroom, he heard a sob. Soft, muffled, coming from inside. Heart pounding, he pushed the door open. There, on the floor by the bed, was Lyra, or someone who looked exactly like her. She was curled up, tears streaming down her face, her hair disheveled. "Aiden," she whispered, looking up with red-rimmed eyes. "Help me, please." He froze, his mind reeling. "Lyra? What? How?" Before he could finish, arms wrapped around him from behind, gentle but firm. "Shh, darling," a voice murmured in his ear, the same voice, but colder, laced with an edge he hadn't heard before. He turned slowly, and there she was again, another Lyra, standing tall, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. It silenced the air, turning the room frigid. The crying Lyra on the floor scrambled back, pointing a trembling finger. "I'm the real one. She followed us here, from the old places, the forgotten ones." Her words tumbled out in a rush, desperate and broken. "She's not me, Aiden. She's something else, something that watches, that waits. It found me when we moved in the walls, in the mirrors." The standing Lyra tightened her grip on his arms, her touch like ice wrapped in silk. "Don't listen to her," she said softly, her breath against his neck. "I loved you first, Aiden, long before you were born. I've waited so long for you to come back to me." Her eyes gleamed in the dim light, not with warmth, but with a possessive hunger that made his skin crawl. The lights flickered wildly, the storm outside mirroring the chaos in the room. Thunder boomed, and for a split second, the standing Lyra's face shifted, features blurring into something ancient, ethereal, with eyes like bottomless voids. Aiden's stomach churned as memories flooded him, stories his grandmother told of spirits that latched on to the living, jealous entities from forgotten eras who mimicked love to trap souls forever. The apartment's history, he'd laughed it off when the realtor mentioned rumors of a woman who died here centuries ago, pining for a lost lover. He pulled away, staggering between them. The crying Lyra reached out. "Choose me, Aiden. We can leave. Fight it." The other tilted her head, her smile unwavering. "You can't leave love behind. I'll always be here, in her, in you." Aiden's mind raced. He grabbed a lamp from the nightstand, swinging it wildly. The standing Lyra dodged with unnatural speed, her laughter echoing like wind through cracks. "You think you can hurt me? I've been here longer than these walls." The crying one screamed, "The mirror! Break it! It's how she comes through!" In a frenzy, Aiden smashed the full-length mirror in the corner. Glass shattered, shards flying like rain. A howl filled the room, not human, but something primal and enraged. The standing Lyra flickered, her form distorting, then vanishing into wisps of shadow that seeped into the cracks in the floor. Silence fell, broken only by the crying Lyra's sobs. Aiden knelt beside her, pulling her into his arms. "It's over," he whispered, though doubt lingered. She clung to him, her warmth real this time, but as they huddled there amid the glass, he heard a faint whisper from the hallway. "I'll wait forever." They moved out the next day, crashing with friends while searching for a new place, but Aiden couldn't shake the entity. It followed in subtle ways, a reflection in a window that lingered too long, a voice on the wind calling his name. Lyra changed too, her glassy eyes haunted. Sometimes in the dead of night, he'd wake up to find her staring at him and wonder if he'd chosen wrong. Months passed, and they tried to rebuild. Therapy helped Aiden process the hallucinations, as the doctors called them. Lyra supported him, her love unwavering. But one evening, as they unpacked in their new, modern condo, far from old buildings and their secrets, Aiden heard it again, her voice from an empty room. Aiden, I loved you first. He froze, heart hammering. Lyra walked in from the kitchen, smiling. Dinner's ready, love. But behind her, in the mirror on the wall, another face watched, cold, patient, eternal. From that night on, Aiden realized he wasn't choosing between two girls. He was choosing between love and something that didn't know how to let go, ever. And in the quiet moments, he wondered if true love could ever escape the grasp of obsession, or if some shadows were destined to follow, whispering promises from the dark. The entity, whatever it was, had roots deeper than he imagined. Researching the old apartment online, Aiden discovered fragments of history. A woman named Ilara in the 1800s who lived there alone after her betrothed died at sea. She wasted away, refusing to leave, convinced her spirit would return. Locals whispered she became something more after death, a Yurei-like figure, jealous of any happiness that echoed her lost love. Had she latched on to Lyra's form because it mirrored her own quiet demeanor? Or was it Aiden she recognized, a reincarnation of the man she'd lost? He never told Lyra about the research. She was healing, laughing more. But Aiden installed mirrors only where necessary, avoided empty rooms at night. Still, the whispers persisted, faint but insistent. One fateful evening during a power outage, the two Lyras appeared again, this time in the new home. The real one begged, "We have to end it. Burn the locket I found in the old apartment. It's her anchor." Aiden remembered. Lyra had discovered an antique locket in the floorboards during the move, engraved with "Forever." She'd worn it once, then tucked it away. They retrieved it, and in the backyard, under the moon, set it aflame. Screams echoed, not from fire, but from the air itself, as shadows twisted and faded. Peace followed, tentative at first. Lyra's warmth returned fully, untainted. Aiden proposed months later, and they married in a sunlit garden, far from shadows. But even now, on quiet nights, he listens for echoes, knowing some loves, human or otherwise, cling beyond death. And if the whispers ever return, he'll hold Lyra tighter, reminding himself, true love lets go when it must. The other kind, it devours.